must find those partners. If there are powerful governments who don't wish to help, that is a great pity, but it's up to every one of us to build peace from the ground up, and that is my message here today, and we will do that through conferences like this, but also Vicente talked about the generosity of spirit, about trying to heal the wounds of the past, about remembering all the victims, and I think those things are very important as we move forward. I think that churches in Belfast, the churches are great partners for peace. The universities and schools are partners for peace. Also the artists, and some of the most powerful statements about the need for peace, but also about the suffering during war, were made by artists. And of course you have the famous Guernica painting of Picasso, but also in Belfast we have great poets who managed to put into words the terrible suffering of war, but the great hope of peace. I ask today that all victims be central to the new era of peace, and that we have to listen to victims, that they have a special place, they suffered the most, they must benefit the most, and I would urge everyone to heed the needs of victims. And I think that was said by other speakers as well. I also said that in our situation in Belfast, prisoners have been great peace builders, that prisoners from all sides were released from jail, and today they work for peace across the peace walls of Belfast, working with each other, working with the police, working with government. And without the prisoners, there would be no peace process. Without the prisoners released, there would be no successful peace process. So I can't talk about what is the best way forward for the Basque country, because these are issues that people here must discuss, but I can tell you that in our situation, the release of prisoners was a building block in the peace process, and it must be tackled with compassion, with generosity. So victims and prisoners, both core issues and difficult issues, but we know that peace is difficult. I think that today we see international concern and empathy, and that is very important. Also, I do feel that if we can resolve the Basque conflict, it would be a great help and boon to all the people of Europe. So I think that the countries that surround the Basque country, the countries of Europe, wish to see a lasting peace here. But also, in our case, we had the great support of Irish America. President Obama was back in Belfast in June, supporting the peace, asking people to back those who are voices for peace. And I'm delighted here today that you have the Mayor of Boise, Idaho, Mayor Peter, and I think this international interest, as well as Palestine and Chile and Nicaragua, that this international interest is not the same as international mediation, but it is a first step and it is helpful. So I commend the organisers of the conference. I am here because I don't wish to see anyone ever again bereaved in the Basque country because of political differences. And I believe that the other mayors here, some from very troubled lands, that they too wish to see that. So it's not mediation, but it is international focus, and that is very important. I think they need to show that no one should be afraid of peace, that peace has rewards for everyone, that it is win-win, that they should enter the process, but they must be treated with respect, that the prospect of peace is a great prize, and it is good for the Spanish people, for the Basque people, it's good for the Irish people, it's good for all of Europe, and I think that Belfast today is an example of peace building all around the world. Yet 20 years ago, when I was a council member in Belfast City Hall, it was a place of terrible suffering and hurt. So I think that can happen also here, that we will move from years of conflict. We will move through this difficult period in the peace process, and you will move into a new era when people will look to Donosti San Sebastian as a beacon of peace throughout the world.